Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Dee, about to react to this vid by Chick Smooth. It's titled Comedians Crashing Out on Kevin Hart Roast Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe Over Racist George Floyd Joke. Oh, very interesting, because I know the narrative from some people is, oh, it's just jokes, it's comedy, y'all are too sensitive, it's not that serious. But here you have some comedians who are like, nah. You know, they're actual comedians and they're like, nah, you can't just pass this off as comedy. You know, like there should be a line at some point. This whole idea that every single thing is on the table doesn't make any sense. Because let's say people are joking about being a PDF, like they're, you know, describing their lust for children. Is that funny too? You know, like at what point do we draw the line? So I don't think that's a fair or logical argument to say that every single thing is on the table and you can laugh about everything. Like, no, some things are weird and some people are going to call that out. Of course, you could tell whatever joke you want, but you're not free from, like, backlash. But anyway, let's see what they have to say. Let's watch.
Oh boy, here we go, you guys. This is all bad for Kevin Hart right now. Right after the roast he just did with Netflix, Kevin Hart is currently facing backlash after one of the comedians from the roast, Tony Hinchcliffe, went a little bit too far. Tony Hinchcliffe made a joke about George Floyd that has everybody upset right now.
He lost his gig hosting the Academy Awards because of some homophobic tweets, but you'd be homophobic too if you were eye level with everyone's He got into a fist fight on a private plane. Proof that no matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. It's fine. Like Bill Cosby, Hart is a black comedian from Philadelphia, and like Bill Cosby, women don't know when Kevin is inside of them. You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you right now. George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
Now, in the last video, make sure you...
Yeah, these just sound like... This sounds like hate disguised as a joke. Like, these just seem like hateful jokes. Like, they seem like they're rooted in just disdain for black people. No matter how much money black people have, they still gonna be hard R's. You know, like, that's weird. So it's like, is this a joke or is this how you feel? Like, once again, where is the humor? And obviously humor is subjective, but it's like there's no actual punchline really. It's just you getting your hateful rhetoric off. That's just how I see it, but whatever.
Guys, go check it out. Stephen Jackson actually pressed Tony and sent him a DM. Well, now we got a slew of other people speaking out as well. A spokesman for George Floyd's foundation actually told TMZ that Tony's joke is sad for the culture. They also felt like Kevin should have told Tony, yo, stay off that topic if nothing else. And they're baffled and disgusted by Tony's apparent obsession with telling George Floyd jokes. And finally, George Floyd's family and friends feel like Tony is a racist comedian. And they're also wondering how Kevin Hart would feel about these jokes if one of his friends died instead of George. Now, one of my subscribers, Queen of Topics TV, shout out to Queen, she made a very interesting point. She said the only problem here is that Kevin Hart specifically had in the rules that they could not talk about his kids or mention his kids. I think she meant wife. Meanwhile, he had no regard for George Floyd's kids, who would have had to hear such an egregious, nasty joke. It wasn't funny. The man died due to police brutality. Now, I thought it was a fair point. Obviously, if you're going to come out and say this is a roast, nothing is off limits, everybody's supposed to feel offended, well, why couldn't the comedians make jokes about your wife and kids? That's something I would love for Kevin Hart to explain. Now, let's get to the actual outrage. His man's Spank Horton, I'm forgetting if Spank was at the actual roast, but he said, yo, the George Floyd joke was asked. The connection was that Kev attended his funeral for the people saying he had nothing to do with it. Never will find anything funny in that joke. And I believe it was referencing to this Isaac Hayes III tweet. Isaac also had some backlash.
That makes it worse if he attended the funeral and he, you know, acted like he was upset about it at the time that it happened. And he had an emotional connection to it. But now you're laughing at someone saying, oh, he's in hell. Ha ha, I know he's so proud of you. Ha ha ha. You're like laughing at that, showing all your teeth. That don't make sense. But you're sensitive enough to where you're like, don't mention my kids or my wife, because that's too close to home. But this was okay.
was Kevin Hart in the joke. He said there's nothing funny about letting a white man disrespect George Floyd, comedy, roast or not. Black celebs laughing at George Floyd jokes. The same week, white racists are openly trying to strip your community of its power and rights. It's exactly why they think they can keep playing in our faces. A black man was murdered in front of the world. That wasn't a punchline. That was racial violence. This is exactly why black people are desensitized to their own disrespect. Corny. Now, Thesis also came out outraged against the joke. Here's what he said.
Is that right?
You can just watch the clips online, then you gotta wait till the end to see who the writers were, and then you go back and watch it, and you was like, wow, not a lot of black writers, but a lot of black jokes. Some of those weren't even jokes, they were just straight up racist, but hey, Netflix,
And finally, comedian Lil Rel was also outraged at the...
And that's what I'm saying. There should be a punchline. Humor is subjective, sure, but shouldn't there be a punchline? Just saying, hey, black people are animals who like fighting and they're N-words. Where's the punchline? Where is the joke? It's not about finding it funny or not. It's like there should be a joke in a joke. Am I tripping? Where is the actual joke?
The George Floyd joke as well. Here's what he said.
All right, I'm gonna say this, right?
And George Floyd is in hell. Ha ha ha. Where is the joke?
You know, I ended up catching up and watching Kevin Hart roast. Shout out to Naeem Lynn, shout out to Cheryl Underwood, shout out to Chelsea Handler, Kat, Kev, you know, it was some funny people on there. And people gotta know roasting it is what it is, and it can go below the belt. What I am annoyed about, just keeping it 100, y'all. Just keeping it 100. And I wonder how I would react if I was there. I couldn't attend because I've been in upstate New York shooting a movie. I don't understand. Like, it's one thing to roast the people that's there. It's one thing to roast the people that may be in the audience there. Roasting somebody that, number one, is dead. Number two, that's not there. Number three, that the implications of why you should joke about that. Like Tony Hinchcliffe joke about George Floyd didn't make sense to me. There was no...
And people said, because Kevin went to his funeral. So, clearly he didn't give a fuck. He laughed and showing all his teeth. He didn't give a fuck about him if he think that joke is so funny. Because, once again, like that person pointed out, if it was someone in his family, he wouldn't have thought that was funny. Because it's like, that connection is there. You actually care about them. So he clearly didn't care about George Floyd. It seems like he went for appearances. Like, oh, look, y'all see I'm supporting the black community, BLM. Like, that's what it's given that because he's laughing so hard at it. So I think the connection is still weak.
Reason to bring George Floyd into this, you know, it just was disgusting. And I do feel a certain way that the audience was okay booing Draymond Green every time his name was mentioned, or just, you know, so y'all could boo. We know people was booing in there, but you don't boo Tony Hinchcliffe right after that.
The audience even, like, they gasped. Like, they knew that joke was out of line. Like, they didn't laugh. Like, when you think of people who tell, you know, dark jokes, like Dave Chappelle, for example, even, you know, his jokes, they have a punchline. Like, they're clever. Whether you agree with it or not, or if you want to cancel him or not is a whole nother conversation. But it's like, okay, I see the joke here. I see the joke in this. And the audience, you can hear them laughing when he tells his jokes. It's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But they was like, oh! That was their response to his joke.
I understand, and I get it, man, and I'm okay with not being a part of a lot of this cliquey bull that's in comedy or in our business that some of y'all may think I'm a part of, but I'm not. I 100% would have booed that and probably walked out. That's all I'm saying. Come on, y'all. Like, I do think times we are, like, too sensitive about certain things. Why we just can't agree that bringing up George Floyd and the way he did it was just up and not funny and not needed. It wasn't even needed.
It wasn't even clever.
So, whatever. Congrats to Kevin Hart. But man, I ain't like that.
So, as you guys can see, very, very tough situation for Kevin Hart. There's been so many comedians in the past that's had roasts. However, yours is the one that catches backlash, not only from regular citizens, but also comedians as well, your peers. Just like he said in his video, I think Kevin is going to continue doubling down. There's absolutely no way Kevin Hart is going to turn his back on the comedians that he himself picked out and invited to roast him. Every comedian that was invited up there to that roast is in full and complete agreement with everything that was said. TMZ pulled up on Tiffany Haddish, who was at the roast, and they asked her about the George Floyd joke. Did it go too far?
I think it should have been shorter. The show was too long.
Okay.
I mean, I was sitting there the whole time. I had to pee. Something I didn't hear the George Floyd joke because I had to pee so bad.
So you went to the bathroom with
yeah, I was a glorified seat filler, and I was tired.
Well, also, I mean, Lonnie and other people were like, oh, maybe it was a little too racially motivated. What do you think as far as like the jokes? Is this just comedy, or are people taking it too seriously?
Is this all comedians saying it that wasn't invited?
Man, let's see how this all progresses.
The rest of the vid, he's showing Kevin Hart's response, which I already reacted to yesterday. I mean, whatever. Whoever is okay with being disrespected, sure. Kevin clearly doesn't care. He probably lets his white friends call him the N-word, hard R, and laughs it off. So I'm not shocked by this at all. So whatever. We can't expect everyone to have common sense and self-respect. So it is what it is, sure. If you like it, I love it. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though, and I'll see y'all the next time.